We're back! We know all you basketball fans can't get enough of the trade deadline content we keep putting out, so we've brought you another hot take courtesy of the team here at Latest Hoops. Today we're talking Towns, and not the kind that you live in. Karl-Anthony Towns is arguably one of the most versatile big men in the NBA today. He's capable of putting up big numbers in terms of points and rebounds in a hurry, pretty much a lock for the All-Star game when he's playing at his best, and one of the players in the league most criticized for his inability to carry a team. Well, seeing as it's become clear he isn't carrying the Minnesota Timberwolves anywhere except another draft lottery anytime soon, perhaps it's time they move him to a team where he doesn't need to carry anyone and can just focus on putting up monster numbers on a nightly basis. Enter the Golden State Warriors. Before we get to what could be the surprise trade of the year, we've got a smaller but equally exciting surprise for all you Latest Hoops loyal fans. We're giving away a brand new PS5 with NBA 2K21 and Madden NFL 21 included. All you need to do to enter the giveaway is like this video and leave a comment letting us know what you think of the trade, as well as subscribing to our Latest Hoops channel. Once that's done, you're in and you could be our lucky winner, so be sure to turn on channel notifications and watch our upcoming videos so you don't miss the announcement. Now, let's go back to talking about Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns, or KAT as he's known to most around the league, has been responsible for some of the more impressive games we've seen from an NBA big man in the last 5 years. He's a walking double-double who can step out and shoot the three just as effectively as he can dominate on the block and in the low post. It's surprising then that a player who most nights looks like an obvious franchise cornerstone has failed to carry the Timberwolves to the playoffs in all but 1 year since he was drafted. Even that year doesn't count though, because the Timberwolves brought in Jimmy Butler, who did most of the carrying, and then left after leveling criticism at most of the Timberwolves organization, and Towns in particular. The Timberwolves have had a losing record every year except that 2017-2018 season, despite having pretty decent players for most of them. That is a worrying sign given the talent Karl-Anthony Towns has. Most teams with a player like him on the floor should be a low playoff seeding, year in and year out at the very least. However, that hasn't been the case. Towns has had a difficult time of things over the last 18 months or so. He's lost family members to COVID-19 and been forced to miss time himself because of the virus. Nonetheless, the inability of the Timberwolves to win is a problem that has bugged the franchise since 2004. Kevin Love couldn't change the fortunes of the franchise, and it's become apparent that Karl-Anthony Towns isn't able to do so either. In truth, the Timberwolves are probably staring down the barrel of another rebuild, and the best way to go about doing that and return to relevance as quickly as possible is by trading the franchise star who can't carry them for a chance to find someone in this year's draft who can. KAT's inability to lead a team makes him a difficult trade. Teams who are close to contention aren't likely to raid their rosters for a star who won't necessarily give them the edge they need. However, the Golden State Warriors already have championship experience in their roster, as well as players in Steph Curry and Klay Thompson who have proven they can carry the franchise. All the Splash Brothers need is enough talent around them to keep opposition defenses honest and allow them to go about their business. Karl-Anthony Towns can do that and more for a team that has managed to quickly return to the cusp of championship contention despite losing Kevin Durant at the end of the 2018-2019 season. Let's start by looking at what a trade for Karl-Anthony Towns might involve. In truth, the players involved in the trade don't matter as much as the picks do, but the Timberwolves will almost certainly demand that young potential star James Wiseman is included in the trade. Wiseman has looked like a future star in fits and bursts so far in his rookie season. The Memphis College one-and-done standout was taken second overall by the Warriors in the 2020 draft. So far this season, he is averaging 12 points and 6 rebounds per game in just over 20 minutes of action. However, were he to be traded to the Timberwolves, he would likely see far more action than that. His per 36 numbers, the average time expected to be played by an NBA starter, are an eye-popping 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game. Those numbers aren't far off some of the elite big men in the league, including those numbers put up by Towns. However, Wiseman still has a sharp learning curve ahead of him and will only likely be able to put up those numbers on a regular basis in 2 or 3 years, given that he's unlikely to get extended time on the floor for a Warriors franchise hoping to compete for titles. He would get that kind of playing time on the Timberwolves, so a trade might be what's best for the young star, particularly if the Warriors are in win-now mode, which they likely are given the shrinking window of opportunity for Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Given the fact that the Warriors want to contend again, the Golden State front office are likely to agree to any demand to include James Wiseman in a trade package for KAT, because acquiring Karl-Anthony Towns opens another 4 or 5 year window of championship contention when placed alongside the Splash Brothers. To make the deal work financially, they would also likely have to send Andrew Wiggins to the Timberwolves and take back Malik Beasley. Another possibility is a trade including Kelly Oubre Jr. and Draymond Green, But Green is integral to what the Warriors do, and Golden State is unlikely to part with 2 promising young talents and 2 draft picks in order to bring in Towns. The Timberwolves won't be overly thrilled about taking Wiggins back, but he has 1 year left on his contract, which is for similar money to that of Towns, around $29.5 million. If they're going to pay a star who can't carry a team, they may as well do it for 1 year less. Plus, like we said, this trade is about the picks they get more than anything. 2 first-round picks, either both for this year or one this year and one next year, are likely to be required to make this all work. Maybe a second-round pick as well for good measure. One of those picks will likely be the one Minnesota sent to the Golden State Warriors last year in return for D'Angelo Russell. That pick was for the 2021 draft, something the Warriors insisted on when the trade was being negotiated because they realized this class was going to be stacked. The pick is top 3 protected, but the Timberwolves would love to have a guarantee of picking in the top 14 of this year's draft, particularly when the consensus among scouts is that there is potential all-star talent deep into the lottery this year. In light of the value of the picks being handed over, it might seem like a lot for Golden State to give up to bring in KAT, but if it opens up a 5-year championship window for them, then they won't need the first-round picks for those 2 years much anyway. If they can develop Towns into a player that can lead a franchise, then they won't need them at all. So the Timberwolves essentially trade stars that don't bring about wins in return for 2 chances at finding one that does in what should be 2 stacked NBA draft classes. They save a year of paying close to $30 million to Towns, and they acquire a potential star in James Wiseman, so the deal works out well for Minnesota. As for the Warriors, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are both still young enough to have 4 or 5 years of top basketball left in them. Karl-Anthony Towns is only 26, and so he fits nicely with that time frame and can take over as the franchise star as they start to decline. The Warriors won't need him to carry the team because Steph Curry and Klay are capable of doing that. All they really need him to do is be a dominant interior presence, something Towns has shown he is more than capable of doing over the course of his NBA career. One look at the numbers Karl-Anthony Towns has put up since joining the league shows you that he is more than capable of being a third big piece and dominant big man on a championship contender. Since joining the league as the first overall pick in 2015, the Kentucky product has put up at least 20 points and 10 rebounds per game in every season except his rookie year, where he averaged 18 points per game. His career averages of 22.6 points per game, 11.7 rebounds per game, and 1.5 blocks per game are elite big man numbers and more than worthy of all-star consideration. In fact, Towns made the all-star game 2 years in a row in 2018 and 2019 before a difficult 2020 disrupted that streak. He has also made an All-NBA third team as well as winning Rookie of the Year in his rookie season. It's clear then that the big man is capable of playing at an all-star level. The only real criticism that can be leveled at the New Jersey native is that he fails to elevate his teammates. He won't need to do that in Golden State and can just focus on putting up insane numbers, something he's pretty good at. Since joining the league, KAT has 12 20-point and 20-rebound games, good for 5th best in the league at the time. He's also the 3rd highest scorer in Timberwolves history already and will likely pass Wiggins this year if he plays out the season in Minnesota. He's also 3rd in rebounds and blocks, and 2nd in 3-pointers made, which demonstrates his offensive versatility. Towns joining the Warriors would be the 3rd big piece they need to push themselves back into contention. If they can make the playoffs as a low seed this year on the back of Steph Curry's MVP caliber season, and some much needed offense help from KAT, they will be a tough out for any of the top seeds in the Western Conference, particularly if Klay Thompson is able to return in time for the playoffs, which is certainly a possibility. Even if he isn't, a trio of Curry, Thompson, and Towns become instant contenders next season. Towns benefits massively from the trade too. Draymond Green could instill some much-needed toughness and grit in the big man and improve his defense dramatically if Towns is willing to learn. A starting 5 including Curry, Thompson, Kelly Oubre Jr., Draymond Green, and Karl-Anthony Towns has title contender written all over it. The trade would be a big surprise if it happens, but it's certainly doable and both teams stand to benefit if the trade happens. Watch this space, latest Hoops fans. We're very rarely wrong. Thanks for watching, Basketball Junkies. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for your chance to win that PS5. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the awesome videos we've got lined up for you ahead of this year's NBA trade deadline. See you soon, latest Hoops family, and until then, keep shooting your shot. That's it for me. I'll catch you guys in the next one.